Now tuning in to Earbud Media. Audio for everyone.
Oh.
Just a little rut-row to start us off. I feel like, honestly, after this past week, a little rut-row is fair to bring into the studio today.
Sure, yeah. We've been shaking things. We've been moving stuff. We've been doing things.
That's exactly right. We do have new stuff. When you are listening to this today,
right,
there should be new stuff that's there,
right.
Which is good.
Hopefully it should be the same. Hopefully everything
hopefully
should not feel new. But it will be new for us because we will have a better back-end situation. But everything should be fine.
The podcast got a BBL.
Yeah, right. We got a BBL. But if there are issues within your podcasting app of choice, let us know. But it should be totally fine.
It should be fine. I mean, if we start sounding demonic, that is intended. Like, that's not part of this. Right. It's not related, so don't worry about that. Right.
Yeah, that's just like a side thing we're working on.
Mm-hmm. It's almost, when folks are listening to this, it's almost the end of January Jones. How are you doing?
Whoa, happy January Jones Day. I am here. Surprisingly, I'm bringing another TV show, but one that I actually believe is good in a fun turn of events.
Whatever it is, this photo has me locked and loaded. So, like, I'm ready.
I'm seated. I chose the most bait-heavy photo for you specifically, and that is of sweet Mandy Patinkin, my guy, my goat.
The love of my life.
Yeah. I want to talk about a show that is currently airing, called Death and Other Details. It is on Hulu. It's a Hulu original. And warning, the poster and all the lead imagery they've been using for this is bad. So it made me not want to watch it.
Oh, this photo. I've seen this photo.
It's bad. It's not good. It's not indicative of what the show is. But whatever. That's not my...
Are they not on a boat at all? Are they not aboard?
They are on a boat. No, it's just there's one where it's when you're on Hulu and it's the wide, where it's super close up and the girl with the blonde bangs looks super face-tuned. It's just a weird vibe. The ship one is representative of it. But okay, this is very Knives Out. It's very murder mystery. It's very Columbo. It's very Murder, She Wrote.
I'm in.
And right, all of these things are already great. Also on a cruise ship, fabulous. Love this. And it is essentially a murder happened on a boat. People are trying to figure out what happened on the boat. There's also Mandy Patinkin, love of my life, who was formerly the world's greatest detective before stuff happened. But now he's on this boat and is someone they can call on to get back in the groove. And then there's this woman, Violet, or Imogen, sorry. And she has a past with Mandy Patinkin's character and also relations to pretty much everyone on this boat, because it's kind of a small section of a bunch of rich people that she's kind of on there with them, but not part of their inner circle type deal.
Are you gonna hate me if I say that she looks like Megan, the haunted doll?
The haunted doll? She does. She does give Megan a little bit. I've seen
this very face-tuned photo now, and it's very Megan.
Yeah, I don't know why they did her like this, because she does look like a doll. They made her look... Yeah. That's not what she looks like in this television program. Really, she looks like a normal human woman.
Okay.
So it's very strange that they chose that approach to it. I'm obsessed with this. And it's very much dropping clues for you as well to figure out the mystery. And it's got this, and it's honestly, it's one of those things that I for sure thought it would have been based on a book or something. Sure. Because it feels very coming from a very writery place. It feels coming from oh, here's this tale I'm going to tell you, and choose your own adventure, figure it out type beat. But it's not. It's just a fully original
That's wild,
script
because this gives
situation.
very Agatha Christie.
Yes, absolutely. But everyone in it is very good. Also, love of our lives. What is his name? Rahul Kohli is in this.
Okay, that's it. That's all you
So
needed, actually.
if I hadn't pitched you enough, that is
Locked and loaded.
ready to go, and he is good and hot in it. Surprising to no one. Mandy Patinkin put on a fucking show in this, might I say. He is running this.
He shouldn't be, I mean, he should be in everything, but like he shouldn't be in anything else where he's not solving puzzles, because that's why the first 2 seasons that he was in Criminal Minds were so good.
Yes.
You can see the gears in his brain turning. This is all I needed, actually, is Patinkin and a lot of like hot people and a mystery.
Right.
That's it.
Yeah. And also has like slight Succession vibes, because there's like a potential business deal that is impacted by this. So there's like a lot of things, a lot of machinations going on here that are
Interesting.
fun.
Okay. I'm so glad that they promoted this show. I'm so glad that like me, their target demo, knew about this.
Right. Yeah.
Fucking Hulu.
God. Yeah. Fucking fumbling it. But that's why I'm here.
Okay.
I'm doing free PR for Hulu Original.
Not for Hulu, for Mandy Patinkin.
That is true. How are you doing?
I am persisting. I'm alive. I'm here.
Love to hear that.
Would like this month to be over. It's been a little too long for... I don't understand how this month is still going, but alas. In a shocking turn of events, I have a dropout product to talk about this week.
Wow.
I know.
Let's go.
I know.
We're back.
Have watched some of Dimension 20. We have talked about some of Dimension 20 on this here show.
Yes.
But I, prior to this past week, had only seen Tiny Heist and Dungeons and Drag Queens.
Okay.
So I had to go on Wikipedia and be like, how the fuck am I supposed to watch this?
Right.
Y'all
Where do I start?
Where do I start? And I was told to start with Fantasy High. So my happy thing this week is Fantasy High.
Fuck yes. Welcome.
I'm here. I understand, as in a shocking turn of events to absolutely no one, I'm talking about people playing D&D. Because, always. I'm not used to, I mean, my only experience has been with dropout products of actually watching people. In the past, it's just been listening to them play D&D. And so I think that the visual components of this have been beautiful to see.
Yeah.
What I am a little bit through season 3 now of their junior year. Here's my observation thus far. And I don't, based on some things I've seen online, this seems to be similar as well. If you have not seen Fantasy High, I highly recommend it, first of all, because it's a great group of folks just playing D&D. Season 1's great. I tried about 10 minutes of season 2.
Yeah.
Couldn't do it. Audio mixing sucks. Real bad.
Really bad. Yeah. And that's where they did on Zoom, right?
Mm-hmm. They went from
I could
it
not
live,
yeah, and
then going to Zoom.
Right.
And I hadn't even gotten to the Zoom parts. I was like, yeah, this is going to be enough. Right. So if you, like myself, are watching Fantasy High for the first time, do season 1. The audio's not great, but it's not bad. Like, it's doable.
Right. It's not offensive.
And then go to season 3, and season 3 has been perfect. The audio's been perfectly fine.
Amazing. Yeah, because I've been wanting to get back in because of the new season, and I think they came out with this, like, recap sort of video. So if it's been a while, / if you want to skip season 2 because it's not really technically fun or good to watch, that's probably the way to go.
It is.
In between.
Season 1, I was already having to, like, futz with my volume a bit.
Yeah.
But I knew, like, it just takes some time for things to settle. And then season 2 was bad. And I was like, I'm just going to read about what happens. But season 3 has been great. The audio is on point, but the visuals are on point. They have so many minis, which is beautiful.
Love that. Love the minis.
I love the minis so much, and just the chemistry between everyone has been great. And so, I am very happy to keep watching this and watch more of Dimension 20 stuff. I think it's just those early years going to have to tiptoe around audio mixing, but that's okay.
Yeah,
we learn.
Yeah.
So thank you, Brennan, for leading these amazing people to create stories that make me cry, and also fuck you.
Yeah, also go fuck yourself.
And also fuck you. But thank you, or whatever. We have 2 pieces of current events this week. The first one, Future Cody, if you could just add some like rainy piano music behind this, that'd be great. The first one, I'm unfortunately need to report that Nina Dobrev is a Disney adult.
Yeah.
Am I shocked? No.
No.
Am I still sad? Yes.
I'm not mad, I'm just disappointed.
So Nina was surprised for her 35th birthday and posted this very long carousel on Instagram about how
so many photos.
all of her friends went on this really big party bus to Disneyland. And that's a thing that people do when they're adults. I mean, it seems like for her that they actually did surprise her, which I know is hard to do when you've been with someone for a long time. And to get that many people together for anything, hard to do.
Right. This is a substantial group of people.
Yes.
That's a lot of scheduling, you know?
So good on Sean for helping to coordinate this trip to Disneyland. It's just the most millennial thing I've seen in a while.
Yeah, this is incredibly millennial coded. The video especially, for everyone just like on their phones recording the reaction and like jumping in with the ears is wild.
It is hard in these days to find joy. So I get it.
I get it.
That doesn't mean that I'm not going to criticize you for spending probably like $50 on Etsy to get these birthday girl Mickey ears.
Oh, at least. Yeah,
so,
for sure.
You know, I'm glad that you had a good time.
Happy for her.
and I'm glad that you had a happy time. It's just I'm also going to be aware now that, like, Nina, you are a Disney adult, you know?
Right. That's just something we have to reconcile with.
Yeah. This next piece is an update about how Sundance went for K-Stu.
God.
Thank you to Zach Sharf for this piece.
Hell yeah.
So thank you. There's a lot here about what happened in Sundance with Kristen promoting both Love Lies Bleeding and Love Me. What I would love to draw your attention to is when Kristen is talking about this fight that happens between her and Jenna Malone. It's obviously in the, like, it's planned. It's in the movie. They didn't just, like, have major beef, though that would be hilarious.
Right.
Kristen goes on and talks about, like, how amazing Jenna is. But says in this, that Jenna shocked the pants off of her. She says, quote, "She screamed in my face in a way that was not even remotely scripted. It took me so far back that I fell on a bed and she landed on top of me and started pummeling me. I've looked up to her as a sister, but from a distance. You know, when you see people on screen and you're like, I feel like I know you, we had some historical admiration."
Okay.
If this is in the movie, I am going to... I already knew that this movie was going to
pass away.
I already knew that this movie was going to make me pass away, but seeing my two loves fight each other is going to be very important to me personally.
Yeah. God.
I'm so excited. I've started to see reviews coming out about it, and I don't want to read too many of them because I don't want to get spoiled.
Yeah.
But all of the ones that I've seen about Love Lies Bleeding and Love Me, actually, have just been nothing but good things from Sundance.
God, I'm so excited. I'm so excited.
So just give them to me, please and thank you. Please and thank you. That's all I want.
God.
And
you
also,
did expeditiously.
Yes. I would like someone to give me that copy of Love Lies Bleeding, and I would like someone to like distribute Love Me so that people can see it. That'd be great.
Yes, please. Thank you.
Please and thank you. So last week we had an episode that we talked about. The recap didn't help me remember what we talked about for There Goes the Neighborhood.
Yeah.
The recap was all like, hey, these people from the tomb, they escaped. Rip. Hey, remember that Rick died. Ooh. Anyways. All I remember from last week was that, like, Frederick was trying to start some shit. And Harper was like,
right.
no. And then also, like, the boys got beat up in their own house. Which is embarrassing for them.
Yeah, it's honestly so sick and twisted.
Yeah. How did you feel about this week? Let the right one in.
Let the right one in. There's a lot happening here. Mm-hmm. We're getting a lot more of the Anna Jeremy situation.
A lot, yes.
Because, you know, Jeremy's sad emo boy and wants to be vampire. He's so baby girl. He's baby girling. He's max baby girling right now.
Yes.
In here.
Nat 20 baby girl.
Right. Right, with extra points of charisma. And Anna's like, hey, sweet baby, I am not gonna do that for you, because, like, I either need to be, like, in love with you, or, you know, you gotta be worth it, and I don't think this is gonna be good for either of us, so right. Sorry, bud. And he's like,
come up with a reason
that stinks.
At the start of this episode about why he wants to be a vampire. And
right.
Anna has the audacity in part of this episode to be like, oh, this is just a transactional relationship now? As if Homegirl did not start this off in the library, like tracked him.
Right, yeah, you initiated this transactional relationship, girl. Come on now.
Don't get mad at him when he starts to figure out your game and does it back. But he can't come up with a reason. And what I realize now, based on the end of this episode, is he knew he just didn't want to say, which is fucked up.
Right. Yeah.
But I did love that Anna was like, I'm not going to turn someone who's learned everything that they know about vampires from Netflix.
Which, like, savage. But also, he did do scholarly research.
He did.
For the
record.
Primary sources.
Like,
yeah, don't insult his sources and his research. Yes, he was Googling, for sure. Right. Yes, he was on the forums, for sure. But he was also in the library. He was hitting the books, okay?
You can't say that he's not well-researched in the context of, like, Mystic Falls lore.
Right, exactly. Right, yeah.
He's just very naive. And, I mean, it's probably for the best that he is with Anna in these scenes, because she has a modicum of a conscience and doesn't, one, just immediately kill him.
Right.
Two, doesn't immediately turn him. And then three is like, hey, thanks for trying to give me this bracelet that obviously, like, has vervain. I know I can't touch it or anything, but, like, maybe you should keep that on.
Right.
So, like, she does kind of care about him.
Yeah.
But, I mean, if this had been what we see with Pearl, but, like, if it had been even, like, Frederick, Homeboy would not be here.
Right.
Which is not great.
Yeah. Yeah. I love, too, that in this little back and forth, she's like, actually, Dracula, like, smelled really bad. He was really stinky, or showered. And, like, Jeremy has this look in his eyes where he's kind of like, oh my god, did you know him? You know, like, there's some kind of, like, fangirl situation going on there that I really appreciated.
He is going to be the death of me, actually.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%.
And that is a problem. Because I was afraid of what happens at the end of this episode, of, like, I was afraid for when he found, one, when the town found out, but, like, when he found out about what actually happened to Vicky. I hate it. I was nervous about it, and I was like, oh no, this is incredibly painful. And I didn't. Yeah. I regret thinking about this a little bit. But I love him, and I'm very grateful that Jeremy exists. It's not helping the fact that Bonnie's still gone, though.
Yeah. Listen, I I need to file a missing persons report, because at this point, it's been eons, and I'm nervous. I'm worried.
Yes.
Where is she? Is anyone knocking on any doors out here? Is anyone even... When's the last time we saw her at school, at the grill, anywhere? Has she been spotted by anyone?
If she's just like, fuck this town, great.
Right.
I just want to make sure that she's okay.
If there was just one throwaway line from Elena that was like, oh, I got a text, right? Like, I would have been fine. I would have been satiated. She's alive, right? We get nothing. We get nothing. Where's my girl?
No, instead, they're like, we're going to make this up to you by having multiple scenes with Tyler Lockwood in it. Is that okay? It's not okay.
Ugh. No, absolutely not.
Speaking of people being gone, the Gilberts, and I know that that's not, like, legally Elena's name or whatever, but I'm still going to call her Gilbert. These two children are going through it with their respective vampires. Where's Jenna?
Jenna is nowhere to be seen, as per usual. She's not running this house.
Nope. Jenna's gone. God. I don't know where she is, but she's gone. I figured with Rick being back that maybe she would show up, and no, just no Jenna.
No. I hate it here.
I hate that they are making Jenna seem like she doesn't give a fuck about her guardianship duties.
Right.
Because she's just not here when they need her.
Right. Just let the minors in her home just fully be susceptible to all of this nonsense and have no idea that it's happening ever. Ever.
Jenna. Hey.
God.
Are you good?
No. She's not.
I hate it. I hate it so much. It makes me upset. I don't know why, but I assumed last episode when Pearl stabbed Frederick that he was Gone Girl.
Right. I didn't think he was gonna make it from that.
Yeah, I didn't realize that that was like an equivalent of slapping in the face.
Yeah, it was more alive. It was like a fun stab, you know, like a friendly little stab. Not like a die stab, I guess.
We were gonna have to get another episode with this dude kind of thing.
Right, like he's still here. Surprise.
My favorite thing about Frederick, and I know this is an actor thing, but there's a close-up of Frederick pretty early on in this episode where the actor has a nose ring. And I like to think that Frederick, in his like couple of days that he's been brought back into the present, decided the best way for me to look human is to go get a nose ring.
Right, like that's the life hack.
Right.
Looking like a normal guy, just a regular human guy.
I know Pearl's not really allowing me out of the house a lot, but like the one time that I am gonna take it, aside from getting my girlfriend killed, is I'm gonna go get a nose ring. And I think that that's hot, actually.
Right. It's good to have your priorities in check, you know?
I don't know that there's anything about Frederick that I like other than his nose ring. So good on him.
Yeah.
Where do you want to go first? Do you want to talk about Elena's really small vest? Do you want to talk about Stefan looking weirdly hot even though he's supposed to be dying, tied up in ropes?
Right.
Do you want to talk about the 2 liters of the soccer mom in the fridge? Choose your adventure.
There's a lot of great avenues to go here. I feel like we gotta talk about Stefan's kidnapping era. His little. He is out here fully shirtless for really no reason.
No.
Tied up. Getting the shit kicked out of him.
Shirt. We've seen it. He didn't.
Right, we have seen it. No, but you know what? Good for them, I guess. You know, just do it. Okay. It's not working out great for him. He's not really doing.
Hey, Stefan, not to victim blame you, but when you went out in your hoodie in the rain outside your house, do you know what would have been super helpful to know that Frederick and his lackeys were there? Is spidey senses. Why don't you have spidey senses?
Why haven't you guys evolved yet to have them?
At this point,
it's been hundreds of years.
It feels like a choice that you opted out of them.
Right.
Did you accidentally delete an email with it? Like, why are you allowed to get kidnapped as a vampire?
Right. Yeah.
I did, to Frederick's credit, though, I thought that using vervain on the ropes was smart.
Right. It's a good call. It's
Pretty smart. And that they use it as eye drops, nasty.
Yeah. Horrifying. I feel like all the, like, little bits of lore we keep running into now are less, like, interesting and, like, make sense for vampires. It's just like, here are all the nasty ways we can use vervain in a way that is, like, visually upsetting. And it's like, okay, I guess I didn't need to know all the ways this could be implemented and used by people, but I guess now I know there's, like, you know, XYZ many ways to ingest it. Great, cool. Or wear it. That's fine. Sure. Did I need to see it be eye drops? No. I'm good,
There's just someone on this team, on their creative team, who really likes fucking with eyes. Because even the way that we're seeing these vampires, we get the, like, blood vessels around their eyes. And
Right.
As someone who wears contacts, could y'all just stop fucking with eyes? Because I don't like it, personally. Do something else.
Right.
It bothers me a lot. It stresses me out. But that's fine. I understand why Pearl was letting all this ruckus happen at her house. It's because she wasn't there and was like, I need to go figure out these founding families and who has vervain and stuff.
Right. It's like, I gotta go flirt with the mayor.
And that's a great thing to have on your to-do list, is to go flirt with the mayor.
Listen, we love goals. We love checking off things on the to-do list, you know?
I fully expected that scene where Pearl and Anna are sitting with the Lockwoods. Well, two of them. Mrs. Lockwood's obviously not there.
Sure.
That it was meant to be, because, like, Tyler's there, right? And so is Jeremy. And I fully expected it to be a thing where Jeremy was going to get jealous. But they didn't really seem to lean into that, which I felt like was an obvious opportunity. Because Jeremy and Tyler can't stand to be next to each other. But apparently they're fine now. Jeremy has no jealousy at all.
Right. He's like, I'm so good, actually. Don't even worry about it.
This is the one episode that I feel like I still don't support Matt and Caroline together.
Right.
But I think that Caroline, I'm glad that she was in this episode, and the things that they were showing on screen had a plot purpose.
Right. It wasn't just, I'm Caroline.
Right.
And I am going to be used by men as some sort of tool.
Right.
Or be in a relationship. And it's like, okay, got it. Need a little bit more from you, girl. Like, I'm rooting for you. I want there to be more here. Unfortunate that it has to be like, oh, I've discovered, like, I got my car stuck and it's really fucked up, and now also here's a human arm. That's cool.
Yeah. It is
Great.
Unfortunate. I do appreciate the lore that we get, though. That the only reason that she had to go out into the storm was to go to her dad's boyfriend's daughter's birthday.
Right.
Because what the fuck?
The line of succession there is, very specific.
But to have her, that scene at the end was so rude for no reason. Where, like, because we don't know who the body is, and then we just see her again with her mom.
Yeah.
But it makes sense, right? Because why else would Matt's mom come back a couple of episodes ago, other than she needs to be the one to, like, deal with Vicky, right?
Right.
So to have Caroline, who's, like, anxious attachment, has been throughout these past 17 episodes a mostly flat character.
Right.
To have her, like, desperately trying to make Matt love her while he is very obviously grieving his sister's death. And then to have him fucking turn around and see Elena and then break down.
Oop.
And hug her and not have touched Caroline at all. Rude. Yeah. She didn't need that. Right. Caroline did not need
Throw
that.
her a bone. Come on.
For real. She's already so insecure about this relationship. She's insecure about everything.
Right. She always thinks she's number 2, and sometimes she is.
She is.
For the record. And that's not helping. Okay,
No.
Can we just get her a little support here?
Oh, God. It was so painful for no reason. And to find out that, like, I would have been content with Damon having been fucking with Matt and Jeremy's brains if Vicky had just been, like, gone away, right? They just thought, like, oh, we took the dog to the farm.
Right. Right. Yeah, he's happy there, you know? So don't worry about it.
You just... that, like, there's, like, 6 of these people in this really small house that the Donovans have. Jeremy is coming to terms now with, like, a little bit of what he remembers. And then as soon as he's, like, away from the Donovans, he's away from Elena, just, like, completely starts tearing up all of his research.
Yeah.
Just, what's your damage, writers? Like, what's wrong with you all, you know?
Yeah. Right.
But unfortunately, Anna has to figure out that he only wanted to change so that he could be with Vicky, which is not anything now. Right. But fucking, she's gonna do it anyways just to spite her mom.
Right.
Maybe.
It's like, girly. Right. I love that she just, like, as soon as she realizes, he's like, oh man, breaking news. They found Vicky, and and she's like, oh, so you, even though she's been negging him the entire time, she's like, oh, so you didn't want to turn for me? Interesting. I'm gonna disappear into the night, like, out the window. And it's like, come on, man. And then have these texts being like, all right, my mom's being a huge bitch, so I'm just gonna do this because I'm a rebellious teen. Fuck you. Also,
it is the amount of whiplash these two go through of, like, he wants to turn, she doesn't want to do it. Right. He wants to turn, she does want to do it. He doesn't want to turn now, she doesn't want to, like, can y'all just make up your mind, please?
We're not really getting on the same alignment at any point here. No. So maybe we just, like, move the dials a little bit one way. We'll be there. Also, the pearl slap on Anna was...
Oh my god.
Visceral. I felt that through the screen. That was... Whew.
Her name is Kelly Hu, the actress. She is so good.
She is great. Yeah, she's doing a lot of work here.
Because Pearl doesn't give a fuck about anyone. She's not scared of anyone because she's older.
Not even her own daughter.
She doesn't give a fuck about her daughter. She just has one singular mission. And I appreciate her for that. I think that's beautiful.
She's got a plan. She's got things going on. She's got ambitions.
If we've learned nothing from the show, it's that the Vampire Diaries might not know how to write women, except for when they're supposed to be, like, quote, evil.
Right.
Like, they know how to write evil women, just not, like, fully complex people.
Yeah.
I'll take what I can get, I guess. I wish that I had cared more about Stefan being kidnapped and them trying to do this, like, really big, elaborate plan to get him back.
Right. But I feel, yes, I agree, because it seems like, oh yeah, he's in his little spot over there. He'll be fine. Whatever. It's good. Even though he's being actively tortured.
Right.
And meanwhile, the focus is, like, Damon and Elena. Being a little flirty and protective over each other. And the fact that that's stealing the spotlight from Stefan is incredibly funny.
It's so good.
Because he is supposed to be the main character and her boyfriend, right? And meanwhile, Stefan's like, Damon is like, hey, I know you really want to be part of this mission, but I can't get distracted. And I also am known for fucking things up and not being able to protect people.
Yeah.
So I can't let you in there. Because then it's going to be my fault that everyone dies, because that's my cross to bear, and that's my life story, and
and that's
I'm
not
feeling
me
things.
Admitting that I give a shit about you, Elena. I just need you to stay away because you piss me off.
Right, and you're annoying, and I definitely don't like you. God, get out of here. So fuck me. Goddamn.
God, these two. I understand now why Rick is back. Like, he was just used as a plot point this episode of, like, we need your ring and we need your vervain darts, and that's it. I don't really care if you live or die. And honestly, that's fine, because I also don't care if he lives or dies. But it was just the whole, like, getting into the house and getting Stefan should have been more interesting to me. I should have been invested in, because he is a main character. I didn't care. I cared about Harper.
Right. Yeah.
I think part of it for me was also like this episode, more than some of the others, is so visually dark that at times I couldn't tell what was happening. So that might have been it too. The CW
right. It's
was
a little
really
hard to see.
Yeah. But, I mean, he's out, even though Elena did the one thing she wasn't supposed to do, which was go in the house, start punching out windows, almost dying, distracting Damon. Things she's not supposed to be doing.
Right.
What I'm not sure about why they're doing is this arc for Stefan now of using blood as a dependency.
Yeah.
Like human blood specifically. Because he made it seem like early on that it was a choice that he was making, like morally.
Yeah.
Not, oh, we're going to use this to mimic signs of like codependency and alcoholism.
Right.
But I guess now, fuck that. And we're going to do that instead.
We're just going to throw that out the window and actually lean super hard into it.
Right.
As like, ooh, big taboo. Ooh.
In a shocking turn of events on a CW show, the youngest brother has an issue with blood and consuming it. If I had nickels, I'd have 2 nickels, which is weird. It's weird that I'm having to watch this for the second time.
Right. Oh my god.
One thing that I'd be remiss to not talk to you about, and I want to know your thoughts on, is last week we talked a lot about Jeremy and his face when he was being fed on by Anna.
Right, yes.
This episode we get the same thing, but with Elena.
Yes, we do.
And it is on the opposite end of an expression. Because Jeremy was like heart eyes, like a woo.
So woo. Yeah, right.
And Elena's like, oh, fuck. I know that I just gave you consent to do this, but I am going to look at you differently now.
Right. Like, I'm having second thoughts for sure. I didn't realize this was what this was gonna feel like. I love that Elena's whole thing is like, actually, fuck this. Like, this seems like a really exhausting way to live.
Yeah.
I just want to do my hot girl shit as a human woman, and just do that. Like, y'all can have fun over here, but that seems like not fun or enjoyable for me, rather than this like erotic or pleasurable ecstasy thing. It feels very like when in Vampire Academy post the like Stockholm syndrome scenario situation where Rose is kind of like, that was fucked up in hindsight, right? Like that was
exactly.
You know, that didn't, I really do feel about that a little bit differently now, as opposed to like this weird vision in your mind of it being like the truest form of love or like all these things, right?
Yeah.
And I love that Elena's immediately like, nope, not for me, not a fan. I'm gonna raise my eyes a little bit at you.
She had this fantasy, and as soon as she asked for it to happen, was like, oh fuck, no, that's just an in my head thing. That's not a we need to do that thing.
Right. I was projecting a lot of things onto this experience that was not actually what it was, and that's my bad. That's on me, you know?
Because the look, not only the look that she gives Stefan when he's feeding off of her, which is happening in this for the context of like he needs it to survive. Very different vibe than like, oh, I'm trusting you with this. I could make this erotic. It's like, no, I'm dying, right? And then when he growls at her, which first of all...
Grow up. Yeah.
You were like 100, almost 200 years old. Grow up.
Right.
You don't growl at people.
Straight to horny jail.
I wish it was sexy though. It was just a like defensive.
He's trying so bad though.
He's trying to be so angry, and she got the ick so bad.
Yeah, immediately.
She was like, I've read Anne Rice. I thought this was supposed to be hot, and you're gross, actually.
Right. Yeah, I'm actually not feeling any of this anymore. I don't think I ever did, actually.
I don't think I ever did. And then there's Jeremy, who's like exactly like Bella, who's just like, I need you to turn me. I think this is really hot, actually.
Right. I need this so bad.
And I think that that's beautiful. I love seeing it with two siblings who, again, still haven't talked to each other about this.
Nope.
But
You guys got to get it together. Come on.
But are having very similar experiences on the opposite end of the emotions. And I love that a lot.
Yeah.
I usually have a pretty good idea of where these episodes go.
Mm-hmm.
I have no idea where we're going now. Like, I can't tell. We've got like 5, maybe 6 until the end of the season.
Right.
We should be getting into, like, hefty stuff now. I have no idea where we're going.
Yeah, it seems like there's a lot of small things that are bubbling, but we do not have any foreshadowing or at least active momentum leading up to like whatever the big thing is going to be here, which feels a little odd because it's like, surely we're gearing up for something, but the seeds are not even being properly planted yet.
I would imagine, right, that like it's got to be Catherine and Pearl reuniting at some point. But but we're not really getting that because I still don't know what Pearl's whole thing, like, what is she trying to do? We still don't know what that is. She's still very much in, like, reconnaissance mode right now, which is not helpful. And then there's Damon, who's a rebel without a cause now. Stefan, who's fucking shit out of luck because apparently he had a dependency to human blood that we didn't know about. Elena doesn't really want to be with him anymore. Yeah. Is Jeremy going to turn into a vampire? I feel like
is that the next line? Is that what's going on?
I should know who the final like, what is this thing that we're going to do at the end of this season? And I'm lost. Yeah. And y'all got to give me a little bit more information because you keep giving me Matt and Caroline and I don't give a fuck.
Right. Like, we have to stop spending chunks of every episode on this when nothing is different, right? Like, this is all is the same note. Give me Bonnie. Goddamn.
Right. At least.
Or anyone. Anything.
At least if Bonnie was back, one, I would be happy. Right. But then also, so that would be important to me. But then from a plot perspective, I would know, like, which one of these Salvatore brothers is going to bother her to use her magic against these vampires again? Right. But we don't know because Bonnie's off somewhere.
Right. Yeah, she's AWOL.
Right. And we don't know.
Yeah.
And then there's Rick, who's just being kept around now because he has a decoder ring from the bottom of a cereal box. Y'all gotta give me something here, please. Writers. Anything. Because this next episode, Under Control. Yeah. The photo I've shared with you, I think Elena's at the Olive Garden. Maybe the Old Spaghetti Factory. It's hard to say.
Sure. Yeah. She's giving, like, Bachelorette promo photo at the Olive Garden. I love.
That's where it should be. Yeah. That's where the rose ceremony should happen.
Put the rose ceremony at Olive Garden.
If they weren't cowards, that's what they would do.
Yeah, it's like 5 a.m. and they're just like eating breadsticks as the sun is coming up and they're like, all right, go home. That's the way to do it. That's the soft blow, you know?
You can hear the trucks backing up in the back with the food that they're supposed to have. Yeah. I love that a lot. I'm nervous. I don't understand what's going on. I have confusions about where people are. But alas, we persist.
We are out here.
To next episode. We are getting close to the end of the season, which feels weird because I thought we just started.
Right. It is wild. This has been 17 weeks.
Yeah.
Of our lives so far. That's fun.
I don't like thinking about it like that.
Time flies.
Time flies when you're watching a weekly show. We have some amazing patrons. Would you like to start us off?
Absolutely. Thank you to Sean Salvatore.
Ooh, thank you to Megan Pattinson.
Bow, bow, bow. Thank you to Katya Karp.
Ooh, thank you to Ashlyn Vogel.
Bow. Thank you to Maddie Facinelli.
Ooh, thank you to Genevieve Morgan.
Ooh, thank you to Danielle Burke.
Ooh, thank you to Sophia Salinger.
Ow. Thank you to Dan Zeklos.
And last but certainly not least, thank you to Emily Ozera.
Ow.
I have a fan fiction for you. It's
Wonderful.
It's teeny tiny. It's
Okay.
200 words, so I'm going to read all of it.
Do it.
It's by the author Creature of Hobbit. Very good.
Okay.
And
Very
it's
funny.
it's titled Two Sets of Memories. The summary is Jeremy's thoughts on the way everyone has rewritten his last moments with Vicky.
Okay.
This is from November of 2015, so really get back into it. He wondered how it was possible for him to remember something that had never really happened. He could see Vicky standing in front of him in her vampire costume, telling him that she decided to get the hell out of Mystic Falls. And it was plausible. Jeremy knew that Vicky had been telling Matt for a long time that she would leave town as soon as she could. But Jeremy now knows that it isn't true. She's dead, found by Caroline on the way to her dad's last week, and Elena had got Damon to fuck with his memory, so he just thinks she'd left town. And it's crazy. It's like he now has two sets of memories in his brain. Vicky telling him she's going to leave town, and Vicky lying dead in front of him with a stake through her heart. And it's only through reading Elena's journal that he can even be sure which of these really happened. They've taken away his choice, his memories. The only version of events Jeremy has been able to have is the one that Damon, Stefan, and Elena have agreed on. He can forgive Damon and Stefan, kind of. They were only doing what they'd been asked, but he's not ready to forgive Elena for taking his memories of Vicky, the one good thing in his life for a long time, away from him. And
Oof. Oof. Sweet baby boy. Sweet summer child.
who's just now has so much, he's got grief on top of grief.
God.
And
This guy can't catch a win, a single win.
He can't. He just keeps rolling nat ones, and it's just, he's just struggling.
It's heartbreaking to watch.
It's so horrible. Can someone help my boy? Please.
Yeah.
We're finishing up January, which means this is a great time to tell your friends to start listening to the show, to join our Patreon, so that you can swoop up those good Vampire Diaries names.
Yes.
And in general, just give us love. It's always a good time for that here. So do it.
We love that.
We love that. As we say here in the Pacific Northwest.
Get bit.
Ooh.
Ow.
Into the Twilight is an Earbud Media production. You can follow us on Twitter at Into the Twilight or on TikTok at Into the Twilight Show. You can find me at Cody Corral on Twitter and Allie at Alexandria Does. And you can support us on Patreon at patreon.com/Into the Twilight. We have merch, so much stuff. All those links are in the episode description. And make sure to rate and review us on your favorite podcast hosting platform. It really helps the show. Thanks. Bye.
You've been listening to Earbud Media Production. Earbud Media, audio for everyone.